really trying to figure out how you package old concepts, old ideas into new ones is crucial at the beginning.
Meet Tanner, the creative director behind some of YouTube's biggest business channels such as Cody Sanchez and Mark Moss. In this episode, he reveals how to create videos that not only bring in millions of views, but also grow a profitable business.
What's the intent of people coming here, and ultimately what are we selling them in order to like create a business, and how do our videos kind of like lead back into that?
The best strategies to come up with viral ideas, even if you're a small channel.
You create a burner account essentially where you can just watch competitor videos consistently, just like leave the page running, and then you come back and you start to see what other videos are being recommended for you as well.
And the most underrated ways to make more money with your YouTube channel right now.
I will say the one place that's seen a lot of success is...
Well, Tanner, welcome to the 1 of 10 podcast.
Oh, the 1 of 10 podcast. I feel honored to be here. Honestly, it's one of the tools that, you know, I use in my workflow, and I just feel like one of those like gold standards in YouTube. So
that's nice to hear. We're trying to get the word out for 1 of 10. Well, big guest today, guys. You've scaled channels to hundreds of millions of views, which led to like Cody Sanchez making probably millions of dollars in deals from her exposure from it. So if I wanted to scale a channel today, what's the most effective thing to do immediately?
There's multiple ways to go about doing that, I think. I mean, you could do challenges, you could do whatever it is that you think is going to set you apart. But ultimately, I think that even like 1 of 10, you know, I've really been thinking about this lately, is like, if I was standing in a line of 10 people and somebody had to choose to pick me, what is it about me that they're going to want to pick me for? You know, and all these other 10 people kind of look like me. So what is it about me that is going to make me stand out in those 10 people? And I think that that's something that, you know, people could ask themselves.
Yeah, that unfair advantage is key here, right? Well, I'm curious then. Let's go with a concrete example, right? Cody Sanchez, you were with her, I think, from the start, right, of the blow up?
I was with her from 3 million followers to 8.7 across platforms. And then on YouTube specifically, her channel was at 600,000 when I joined, and then it was at 1.7.
Indeed. So can you talk about more like behind the scene, like what happened there? Because I see a lot of, you know, entrepreneurs, millionaires, successful people going on YouTube, but then they'll get like 1,000 views, 5,000, 300 views. But Cody pretty much killed it. So yeah, how did it start, that insane growth?
A lot of it is set up at the foundation, you know, like just who she is, what she talks about. Like, I think it's very unique. She's a special person, you know, has a special personality, has a great mix of experience. Who is it on YouTube that has actually bought businesses and is teaching people how to do that? You know, that's something that is super unique for her. So I think that, you know, with her, it was that foundation that was set that really started to skyrocket everything. And then really from there, there's obviously the tactics and the strategies on the channel itself. So, you know, at the time, I mean, this is 4 years ago, I think, is probably how old the YouTube channel is. Like the YouTube game was a little different, you know, it's always evolving. But when I started to join, really what we focused on, what we found success with was just really getting the avatars down, you know, making sure we knew who we were talking to and what pain points they were dealing with. Like, you know, I won't go too in depth in it, but we had a pretty clear avatar for each video. And, you know, we're asking ourselves as we create this video, is this going to satisfy this person? Are they going to be happy after they get done watching? And I think the biggest thing is, and this isn't something that we focused on, but something I'm thinking about more, is like, how can we maximize unregrettable time in this video? And that's the thing that, you know, we're really focused on. It's like, it's never about it's always about you. And again, like that's the thing with YouTube as well. It's, you know, great. It's literally YouTube. So like as a creator, you know, you're focused on what I'm providing you.
So I was wondering, what's the most viewed video you worked on with her?
The first one is 9 income streams you could build while still an employee. That's the title of that one. The second is I found a business that might never fail. And then the third is 10 businesses to start before you get laid off in 2024.
Let's talk about those. What's your process for ideation for these types of video?
We did have a format. I'll stick specific to the I found a business that might never fail. We had a specific format called, we were calling it Main Street Millionaire at the time. And this is basically where, we go and talk to business owners and document, how they make money essentially. In these like niche, like kind of like weird, would have never thought of it businesses. And that one in particular was a trash truck driver. He bought a trash truck and, was making like, I don't know, I think like 20 or 30 grand a month. You could go watch the video with this trash truck, and he just started in his neighborhood. One of the things that we started to identify, because that wasn't the first like time that we had done that type of video, it's really like, what's the business that we're covering? That's the main thing that we focused on there was, how interesting is this business? Like we did a couple that weren't quite as interesting, like maybe a pressure washing company, for example. And it just like didn't really get as many clicks, as many views. So ultimately we were kind of bouncing back between listicle formats, these business documentaries, more educational stuff, more challenges. Like it kind of varied in what we did, and how we came up with the ideas, but they're data backed. We're trying to look for data backed ideas ultimately, always.
And that's why we built 1of10.com, a tool that helps creators like you do the same, but 100 times easier. The tool helps you find viral video ideas already working in your niche. It then analyzes the millions of outliers in the database to help you generate your titles and thumbnails that match your channel. For example, it can create thumbnails in the style of Beluga, or even create variations of thumbnails from just a title. And this works in any niche. No more wasting hours brainstorming concepts and designing on Canva. And one creator even used 1of10 to combine a viral idea with a high-performing thumbnail concept. The result? Her most viewed video ever with over 2 million views. And the best part? With code POD20 you'll get 20% off for life. So if you want to grow your channel faster, join thousands of YouTubers and head over to 1of10.com. Now back to the pod. I gotta ask, where do you find those data-backed ideas?
Oh, well, 1of10. Yeah, that's one of them for sure. Yeah, there's a variety of ways you can go and find those too, I think that one of the more interesting things that I've heard recently, and this is straight from Patty Galloway, is basically when you're starting a channel, go through and, well, there's multiple things you could do here. Actually, the first one though with Patty is that you can go through, create an incognito window with a channel that, doesn't know anything from anywhere. Like it's just a random YouTube account. And then you go through and you actively click on videos that you think will lead you to like a funnel essentially of where your video is going to end at. So you can start to be like, all right, if I'm going to make a video about F1, or if I want to train my algorithm on a video about F1, how would I get there? And then you start clicking on videos and ultimately find, that correlation to get to the video about F1 racing. The other way is and you create a burner account essentially where you can just watch competitor videos or watch your own videos consistently, just like leave the page running, just let it click through different videos. And then you come back and you'll start to see what other videos are being recommended for you as well. And I think that that's kind of how you can start to find your niche and the potential outliers within inside of that. But there's a lot of different ways you could do it. Tools are definitely, they help a lot in that process, but make it you, that's the big thing. I think like make it you, make it differentiated. That's the key thing. But if you're not that interesting, then like try to find ways to become more interesting. That's always what it is, like what is going to make you interesting to somebody else. And I think that
what does that mean? Let's say, because interesting. Yeah. What is interesting for someone listening?
It's super varied. It's super variable. I think that, I'm into motocross racing, for example, like, so I'm going to get recommended completely different things than somebody else on my feed. Somebody else might be into, I don't know, watching cats, pick on the thing that they have there. I don't know what it is, but, really interesting is, it can be defined like a bunch of different ways. You have the purple cow effect that Seth Godin, he talked about that. Like if there's a field of cows and there's one that's purple, it's going to make it stand out. So you have to define what like your purple is. But I also think about it like just recently, it's been like, okay, let's say that I'm trying to attract people to go on a trip somewhere. And if I'm planning a trip, here are the things in this trip that are going to be interesting. The location, the way that we travel there. Do we fly like first class? Do we fly just coach, whatever? What do we drive when we get there? Like, where are we going to eat at? I think that a YouTube video is kind of like the same thing a little bit. Like at a high level, you have the title, the thumbnail, like the packaging of the trip, but then inside of it, like what are all the different, things that you're doing that are going to be interesting to the people going on the trip with you. Because ultimately what we're doing here on YouTube is like you're bringing the audience along with you. And yeah, it's going to be different for each person, but I'm working with another creator right now. His name's Mark Moss, and he's a Bitcoin creator. And what makes him unique is that he's giving you the most in-depth research on Bitcoin across YouTube. So, it's not even anything like more unique than that, I would say. Obviously he's great on camera as well, but it's kind of like, just asking yourself again, if I'm standing in a line of 10 people, what's going to make somebody want to pick me?
Well, let's say Mark Moss, right? It's a super oversaturated niche, right? The crypto world, Bitcoin world. What's your method to stand out, right? Like you just talked about, right? He has his, let's say his unfair advantage, but like what's your strategy with him to help him blow up?
Packaging was one area that we were trying to focus on a lot, honestly. I think just making better thumbnails, more, poppy thumbnails, that was going to be something that was crucial for us. The other thing that we're really trying to think about, like we have a pretty strong, consistent audience, but how do we pop out of that? And there's a couple of different ways to do that. One of them is like news-based type of content. So very timely content. The only thing is that's not really evergreen. So, we're trying to get that balance set in place where we have consistent videos being posted, but they're also very timely. So, and then really not trying to back ourselves into a hole either, because I think the thing is obviously once you start gaining momentum and, you're going down that path as a creator on YouTube, like you're probably going to have to continue going down that path, so you better make sure it's one that you actually care about, and want to talk about consistently. So I think that, again, with his channel right now, some of it is politically driven, which is another tricky one to kind of look at. Like the content he talks about isn't political, but the association with it is political. So, right. You could lean on that a little bit, but I think it's one of those things that you don't really want to lean on that forever, because there's going to be somebody else in there one day in 4 years, and in 4 years, if you were known as this person talking about this thing, and now that person's no longer there, I think there's a little bit of long-term risk there. So, but really the key with him right now and like what we're trying to focus on is just great short form content. I mean, I think that a lot of the, 1.1, I'll call it like million subscriber growth when I was with Cody, I would say 60 or 40% of that came from shorts. So, shorts are a huge driver in that subscriber growth number.
So you've held on production set, right? What's your process like? Let's say for Cody, like how in advance are videos and how are you managing the whole thing?
Some weeks we were crunch time. We were deadline. Like we didn't really know if we were going to have a video ready for that week, because our goal was just to do 4 a month. And that's pretty arbitrary, if I'm being honest with you. Like there's no set standards around that. I think that ultimately you need to get the best video out. Like I'd rather probably have 2 amazing videos that we really worked hard on than 4 like mediocre ones. But also like you just have to get in the game and keep making deposits. So again, for us, it was really varied. Like some videos are talking head videos, which at the time, we would script out beforehand and have like some sort of structure, and then there would be a review in there from the team and from Cody. But for other videos, we have to produce it. We have to go find a business. We have to go, one of the later videos that I worked on was a vending machine video. It's titled, "I bought 3 vending machines. My earnings shocked me." That one, we had to go buy 3 vending machines. We go find them, go find the locations for them, go figure out like the production schedule. That one's a much longer video to produce and edit as well. Another one that we had done recently at the end there was like a chat GPT one. I can't remember exactly what the title of it is, but I asked AI to make me as much money as possible. And that was like a video based around like chat GPT operator. And now it's like they're called agents. But those types of videos take a lot more time to do. So you have to figure out like, okay, in advance, you're looking at the calendar constantly of like, okay, here's where this video is at. Here's where it's at in production. Here's what we have in the pipeline. Here's how much time we have with, the talent. Because it's not like, this isn't necessarily their full-time job creating YouTube videos. So you have to figure out, how to slot the time in as well there. We had a clear pipeline. We had our, we just used Notion. Again, you could go, Cody talks about this stuff, even on like the John Uche podcast that she was just recently on. All the details are in there. But really it goes, it's just so variable, based on the creator and based on what the types of videos that we have going on. So I think that the thing is like, you always, every quarter, really, you should try to be refreshing things or try something new inside of your quarterly strategy that is different. Yeah, because every quarter, what we would do is like we would set, okay, here's where we're currently at. Here's where we want to be on subscriber growth and follower growth across the board. And then below that, it's literally like, it's just goal setting. I think it's OKRs, your key result, your objectives below it. And we would just go through and figure out like, okay, what are the 5 things that we can do this quarter on YouTube that is going to help us get to our goal, and just start to work the plan from there.
No, yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people forget to experiment, right? They got their groove on, they got that stable viewership going. But what I always say is 1 out of 4 videos you should experiment, and that new experiment can actually become the new crazy format that'll explode the channel. And I've seen it like so many times, so many people coming on this pod. It happened. So yeah, guys, experiment. Like, remember this.
And before getting into that, let me tell you about how the 1 of 10 strategy team can help you grow your channel much faster and make more money. Our team has directly worked with over 100 YouTubers to grow their channels by optimizing their content, focusing on the right strategy. So for example, here's a video idea, title, and thumbnail that we crafted for Mike Shake that ended up getting 22 million views and being his most popular video of all time. Another example is the content strategy we built for Callaway, helping him go from 0 to 70,000 subscribers and grow a 6-figure business on top of that. And those are only just 2 of many creators the team has worked with in the past 6 years. So if you're ready to take your channel to the next level in the next 90 days with daily support, video reviews, winning ideas, titles, and thumbnails, and even 2 calls per month to answer all your questions, head over to oneofthen.com/strategy to book a call.
You've worked with a lot of creators that have a business on the side, or basically generates a lot of revenue from YouTube. So my question is, what kind of CTAs or ways people can use YouTube to funnel it to their business? What methods have worked well?
Giving the most value is the first one. So give. Is
no
a
filter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, that's tricky. You do sort of have to have some sort of filter. I'm not saying just, give everything away, because you can get yourself into some trouble when you do that. But that's really varied too, by the way. It's, but I mean, give away the most value, Gary V's, jab, right hook. And then ultimately it comes down to setting some goals for yourself, I think. So across the board, like, what is your goal to convert, let's say, or what is your goal to happen here? And with YouTube in particular, there are so many different ways to do that as well. I mean, Ryan Trahan, again, I think he's one of the best, and he, when he launches Joyride, like, he literally just makes an entire video with Joyride and the Sticks channel as well. I think that I really like the things that those guys do. With the stuff that we talk about, or stuff that I talked about, or when I was working with Cody, it's how to buy businesses, so ultimately, like, buyer intent is huge. And I think that that's something that, again, you have to think about in your packaging and stuff. Like, what's the intent of people coming here, and ultimately what are we selling them in order to, like, create a business? And how do our videos kind of like lead back into that? And then the balance there comes of like, okay, well, we have a super niche topic, like you said, like publishing a book. That's going to be like, people definitely, garner a lot of the TAM there is like really big. But the amount of people on YouTube and stuff that watch it, not quite as big. So you're constantly balancing, like, I'll call it like reach and awareness, and then conversion. And again, in the content, there's multiple ways to convert. I think the best one is like not a hard sell, like just a soft mention. We're not doing an ad read in the middle of a video, if it's your own product, but really you're trying to make people aware of a problem and your solution to that problem. So again, there's many ways to do that, but I will say the one place that is, I don't know how underrated it is, but a place I've seen a lot of success is YouTube community post. I mean, if you're trying to direct CTA, direct ask your audience for something, do it in YouTube community post. Obviously do it through a lead magnet, though. That's like the main thing. Like, what value, again, are you going to provide at first?
Community posts. I didn't think of that, but actually you're right. Like, I heard the Film Booth talk about it a lot, that community posts are really underrated. So
underrated. I think, I am friends with Sam Gaudet, who's Dan Martell's creative director. And I think on one of the community posts that they did, and I'm trying to pull it up, they got like 1 million likes on that thing. And like, let's just call it like 20,000 subscribers, from a YouTube community post. Yeah, they're getting constantly, like, some of these posts I'm looking at, like 15,000 likes, 176 comments, blah, blah, blah. But the main reason YouTube community posts are nice is because you can just directly link something there. That's the problem with YouTube, is they don't have a mini chat set up like Instagram does. So it's kind of hard to directly convert somebody. They have to click on a link.
Last question for you would be, what's your advice for someone wanting to grow a channel and monetize from it, from your experience?
You're trying to take it seriously. I think that if you just post, corporate content on your YouTube channel, for example, I think it was like, I forget, somebody said, like, it's a YouTube for most companies is just like a corporate video dumping ground, where they just upload their videos, blah, blah, blah. They don't really do much time, or they don't put much effort into them, thinking about the packaging, thinking about the positioning, obsessing on the analytics. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. And I think that there's more ways for it to happen organically. You can just probably upload some videos, and you just get picked up. You hit the algorithm. People really just, really like you. But I think that you have to approach content creation, YouTube, like a profession and like a professional would, and have a strategy associated with it. Set up some processes, some structures for how you come up with ideas, like make it consistent, kind of hit those basics at first. And then, Mr. Beast is the best example of it. Just like I said, just completely obsess over it, and ultimately, if you just keep obsessing over it and trying to iterate, become better, listen to the good feedback that you're getting from your audience, then, you'll eventually, hopefully find success. And then once you find success, I think the biggest thing is like, how can you capitalize off of that success and keep doing the same thing ultimately? Like once you see a 1 out of 10, you should probably repeat that in 4 weeks, or something similar. Like try to go back to that. And the way that you do it can be varied. I think that we'll call it like recreation or repackaging. That I think is a skill set that's going to become, even more important throughout a creator's lifetime. Like, a creator can only talk about so many different things. Right. Ultimately, like they're gonna be talking about the same thing constantly. Now, the difference between the thing that they're talking about and the thing that they've talked about previously and the new thing is going to be how they package it differently. So really trying to figure out how you package old concepts, old ideas into new ones is something that is crucial at the beginning.
Experiment, find that format, and double down, triple down, quadruple down on the format that works. Because I've seen it so many times where people will have like an insane outlier and just forget about it for 6 months.
No, you can't. You got to keep going, and figure out how to make a new angle off of that same idea. Exactly.
Well, Tanner, thanks for coming on the 1 of 10 pod. Where can people find you?
Oh, I'd like to say I'm like the internet ninja. I got my cape on, you can't really find me, but LinkedIn is one place to go. If you want to reach out, I'll just throw my email out there. It's Tanner, TANNER @creators, KREATERZ.com. So that's one way to get in touch with me.
Thanks for coming. And guys, subscribe.
Subscribe.